This overview of Chapter 9 is focused on how crime is socially constructed. In this chapter, you will learn that for sociologists, we view crime as being socially constructed, just as we view gender, sexuality, race, class, etc. Many of the things that sociologists study, we view as being socially constructed. You've heard this term before, and you know that it means that society creates a meaning for a particular word. And so in this chapter, when we think about crime, we're talking about how within a society, crime is defined by the people who live in this society. So, quick example here. In the United States, it is against the law to marry more than one person at a time. In fact, you can be criminally prosecuted for this, as have some fundamentalist Church of Latter-day Saint members. However, in a Muslim nation state, you're not only allowed to marry, if you're a male, allowed to marry more than one woman at a time. You are encouraged to do so. It's helpful to society if men take on more than one woman as a wife, because typically those other women are widows. And so by taking on that widow as a wife, you're also supporting not only her, but her children. And so that tells us right there that how people think of marriage to more than one person is considered criminal in westernized countries, but in Muslim nation states, it is not. That tells us people have decided whether it's criminal, whether it's not. I live in Nevada. In Nevada, there are 13 counties where prostitution is legal. I think that's a good thing. I think it protects both clients as well as the sex worker. However, every other state in the United States prohibits the sale of sex, prohibits prostitution. Why? Again, how people are defining the sale of sex differs in Nevada versus all these other states. So crime is socially constructed for us as sociologists. But in addition to this, you're going to be pushed to consider how race, class, and gender play a role in who we think of as criminals, how we define the things that some people do as criminal activity, whereas we may not define the activity that somebody from a different social class engages in as quite as bad a crime. What I mean by that is we tend to think of murder as this terrible, terrible, evil crime, which it is. However, when we think of white collar crime, embezzlement, insider trading, etc., for some weird reason, we don't, as Americans anyway, we don't really think of that type of crime as being quite so bad, when in fact, it may actually do even more damage to society in some instances than that one murder. So, in addition, you will learn about the implicit bias in terms of the social construction of crime, how we all have an implicit bias. We all have learned to think of certain people and certain activities as criminal or not. And so that bias is unconscious, it's implicit, it's there, and we're not even aware of it most of the time. That colors our judgment about certain activities and certain people. So, this is a really fascinating chapter because of what is going on currently in the United States. For example, some states are criminalizing um, activity in which a doctor helps a woman to abort a fetus, even if that woman's life depends on aborting that fetus because it's endangering her life. They will prosecute these doctors. They have made it clear in these states. And so it makes me wonder, I don't know about you, but it makes me wonder, how is it that state legislators are deciding what kind of medical care women should have and not the doctors who are treating these women? So again, a fascinating chapter, particularly given the society we live in the United States. I hope that you are pushed to think about how you define crime and who you think of as being more likely to be criminal and people who are less likely to be criminal.